morning, good morning, good morning. Hey everybody, this is 𝗬𝗁𝗪𝗏 with my 5-minute wealth tip for today. So first and foremost, I wanted to talk a little bit about tax time. We are getting very close to tax time and tax season is upon us. There are a lot of things that you should be thinking about when it comes to taxes. Typically when you work with an accountant or a CPA, they're typically looking at things in the rear. What do I mean by that? Well, think of it this way. From January to December, you're constantly working and continuing to bring in some sort of income into your household. And then by the end of December, you start thinking about tax time that's going to follow that following April. And then you take all your paperwork into your tax guy or gal and say, hey, what do I owe in taxes? They do their number crunching. They say based off of what you've earned, based off of the tax bracket that you're currently in, deductions, things of that nature. And then they say, here's what we think you're going to owe for taxes this year. So be prepared to pay this number. Now, that's good and dandy, but at the end of the day, that's not really tax planning. That's just tax preparation, right? Figuring out how to pay something that you've already knew was coming, but for whatever reason, we didn't plan to make sure that we can get it into a lower cost down the road. Now, why is this important? Well, here's why, guys. A lot of times we end up paying more taxes than we should be paying throughout the course of the year because we didn't have the proper amount of deductions, we didn't have the proper amount of allotments, things of that nature, and ultimately you end up paying more to Uncle Sam. And how do we know this? Because typically you'll get a return, right? You'll get a tax return. You'll get a return on your taxes because you overpaid at some point in time. Now, I know it's easy to get caught up into that moment, and can't begin to tell you how many clients I have come in and say, well, I'm excited because I'm getting money back. Well, I want you to think about it from a different perspective. What if you, instead of overpaying, you paid just the right amount? You figured out exactly what your deductions are, figure out what the allotments are that you're supposed to take out consistently over a monthly basis. So that way you don't get a refund, but actually you paid the exact amount and you owe nothing and you have to get nothing back. Now here's why this is important. Many of us have used the refund as almost like a savings account, right? But here's what the problem is. You're not making the money or the interest on that savings. The government is, right? You've overpaid. They took that amount of money, sat in an account, they're earning interest on it, and then at the end of the year, they end up paying you back the following year. What if you took that additional amount of money and put it in an account that was an interest-bearing account? Right now, we have interest rates have gone up quite a bit, 3%, 4%, 5% in basic savings and checking accounts now. What if you put money away into that and earn the interest yourself instead of the government earning the interest for you? They're not paying you part of that interest. They're literally just paying you back what you overpaid. Wouldn't it make more sense if you earn the interest on that? Just a thought. So figuring out how you plan going forward and how you should plan going forward with your tax strategies is very important. Here's where a conversation with your advisor and sitting down talking about tax planning strategies might be very advantageous for you when it comes to the ultimate planning process. There are so many new things out there that you can take a look at. Maybe your financial advisor talks to you about tax harvesting. That's when you basically take the losses that you earned in the current year and offset it against the gains that you earned in a different account or the same account. That's an opportunity to be able to reduce those losses and take it and apply it against the capital gains that you have in those same accounts. Hence, you now have no capital gains tax due on certain assets that you have in your portfolio. There are things like QCDs, qualified charitable donations. There are things like charitable remainder trusts that you can do. There are so many strategies that we can take advantage of, especially if you're charitably inclined, that can help you manage your taxes better and help you keep more of those tax dollars in your pocket. So, all right guys, that's my thought for today. Tax planning versus tax preparation. It's a great time to start thinking about this moving forward. Make sure you're making the right choices to help offset your income. And at the end of the day, remember, we're expecting some major tax changes coming up in 2020, the end of 2025, going to 2026. That sunset provision is right around the corner. If Congress doesn't make any changes, what I believe that they will, especially based off of us being over $34 trillion in debt at this point in time. We think there's gonna be some major changes. Might be a great time to sit down, come into the office. Let's talk about some tax strategies to help you start planning for the future. Okay guys, that's my 5-minute wealth tip today. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it gave you some thoughts, something to think about differently. I look forward to seeing you. And as always, if we can be of any service or assistance, feel free to contact us at the office, get you into the office so that way we can help you plan for the next tax year coming. Be well and blessed, and I'll talk to you later. That's 𝗁𝗂𝗁𝗪 with my 5-minute wealth tip. Bye-bye.